Hi everyone. This video tutorial is on the basic concepts of percentages. One of the most important components in mathematics, the concept of percentages is extremely important to understand if students are to calculate quickly and get good scores in the quantitative aptitude section of any entrance examination. So what exactly is a percent? Well, to go back a little into the root of the word, percent comes from per, which is for every, and cent, which means 100. So literally percent means out of every 100 part. So 15% literally means 15 parts out of 100. 22% by the same example would mean 22 parts out of 100. So how do we convert basic fractions in the P by Q form into percentage? Well, let's take a few examples to understand this concept. If 13 by 25 is the fraction given and we are required to answer what it would be written as in the percentage form, then 13 by 25 literally means out of 25 parts we are concerned with 13. So out of 100 parts, what would be the equivalent? Using the concept of cross multiplication, we multiply 100 into 13, divide the whole by 25 and get it as 52%. So if out of 25 parts we are concerned with 13, then out of 100 the equivalent amount would be 52. So what is 7 by 20 in the form of a percentage? Using the same concept as before, if out of 20 parts we are concerned with 7 parts, then out of 100 parts, how much? Using cross multiplication, 100 multiplied by 7 divided by 20 gives us the equivalent of 35%. Now, 8 by 200 is what percentage? Out of 200 parts, if you're talking about 8, then out of 100, how much? We can always use the cross multiplication method. 100 multiplied by 8 divided by 200 is 4. Or if out of 200 it is 8, 200 divided by 2 is 100. So 8 divided by 2 should be 4. The basic concept of ratio proportion can also help you with percentages. Now, we can also have decimal fractions and percentages. So in decimal form, 100% is equivalent to 1. 50%, which is 100% divided by 2, can be written as 1 divided by 2 or 0.5. 25% is 100% divided by 4, which is the equivalent of 1 by 4 or 0.25. So 1 is 1 into 100%, which is 100%. So 0.3 is 0.3 into 100, which is 30%. 0.006 is 0.006 into 100, which is 0.6%. So 0.006 of something is nothing but 0.6% of the same number and vice versa. Now, here are some basic calculation tricks to help you quickly understand how to calculate the values of different percentages. Now, if we are required to calculate 13% of 800, we can break down 13% as 10 plus 3 times 1. 10% of any number is just to knock off the last zero or shift a decimal point. So 10% of 800 is 80. 1% of 800 is 8. So 3% of 800 is 3 times 1%, which is 8 multiplied by 3, which is 24. So 13% is 10% plus 3%, which is 104. To calculate 24.75% of 1200, 24.75% can be broken down as 25% minus 0.25%. 25% of any number is 1/4 of that number. So 25% of 1200 is 1/4 of 1200, which is 300. 0.25% is nothing but 25% divided by 100, which is 300 divided by 100, which is equal to 3. So 24.75% is 25% minus 0.25%, which is 300 minus 3, which is 297. Now, for such quick calculations, if you remember the basic reciprocal values, they would be of great help. Let me just list down the first 10. Remember, the reciprocal of 1 or 1 upon 1 is 100%. 1 by 2 is 50%. 1 by 3 is 33.33%. 1 by 4 is 25%. 1 by 5 is 20%. 1 by 6 is 16.67%. 1 by 7 is 14.28%. 1 by 8 is 12.5%. 1 by 9 is 11.11%. And 1 by 10 is 10%. It would be also advisable to remember the reciprocal values the other way around, as in 10% is 1/10, 12.5% is 1/8, 20% is 1/5, and so on. Now here's an interesting concept called the multiplication factor. Remember, 100% has the decimal equivalent of 1. So 12% is 0.12. So 12% of any number is the number multiplied by 0.12. Similarly, 125% is equivalent of 1.25. So 125% of 200 is 200 multiplied by 1.25. Here both 0.12 and 1.25 are called the multiplication factors. Now remember, percent increase and decrease of a value measures how that value changes as a percentage of its original value. So any increase or decrease in the percentage value is always compared with the original value, and the original value is compared to 100%. Using this concept, let's understand successive increase in percentages. Let us say my salary was originally rupees 500, which first increased by 10%. Then my salary was again increased by another 10%. Then how much is my current salary? Well, using the regular methods, if my original salary is 500 and the first increase is of 10%, then my salary after the first increase is 110% of 500, which using the principle of multiplication factors we get as 1.1 into 500, which is 550. Now my salary is rupees 550. There is a second increase of 10%. So my salary after the second increase is again 110% of 550. Remember, the second percentage increase is calculated over 550 and not 500. So using the principle of multiplication factors, 1.1 into 550 gives my current salary as rupees 605. Now we can also calculate the same using a basic formula, which says if a number first increases by a percentage and then it is increased by b percentage, then the overall increase is equal to a plus b plus ab by 100%. So applying this formula to our previous example where both a and b were 10% each, I get 10 plus 10 plus 10 into 10 by 100, which when calculated is equal to 21%. Using multiplication factors, 1.21 into 500 is 605, which was the exact same answer as before. Now, What if instead of an increase in the percentage, there is a decrease? Well, the formula remains exactly the same. The only difference, instead of using the positive values for A and B, we use the negative value of A and B if it is in the form of a decrease. So, when both A and B are increasing percentages, my formula remains A plus B plus AB by 100. If A is an increase but B is a decrease, then wherever we have B in the equation, we substitute the negative value. Similarly, if A is a decrease while B is an increase, the value of A is written as the negative value. If both A and B are decreasing percentages, then we use both A and B in the form of their negative values. This exact same formula will work for any combination of increase and decrease. All you have to remember is keep in mind an increase is a positive value, a decrease is a negative value. Change of base is an extremely important concept to understand in percentages. Let us say if A is more than B by 25%, then how much is B less than A? Now be careful to understand which among A and B is the base. As A is being compared with B, B has to be taken as the base of 100. So if B is 100, then A, which is 25% more, is 125. So now we have established that A is 125 and B is 100. So because A is being compared with B, A is 25% more than B. Now, to answer how much B is less than A, we have to take A as the comparative base. So if A, the value of which is 125, is taken as 100%, then B with the value of 100 is the equivalent of what percentage? Using cross multiplication, 100 into 100 by 125 gives us the number 80. So B is 80% of A, which means if A is more than B by 25%, then B is less than A by 20%, because 80 is 20 less than 100.